Season 2 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is spicier than ever. From those baptism vibe opening credits to Miranda's return and the Taylor versus Demi showdown.
We're unpacking the receipts and red flags. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Jess.
This is First and Feral, Utah Unfiltered.
Let's get feral.
This is First and Feral, Utah Unfiltered. Utah born, chaos sworn. No filters, no fluff, just real voices and wild stories from the Beehive State.
Season 2 is full, so full of drama. I feel like so much more than season 1.
Yes, but can we just talk about the opening credits? I feel like it's way more spicy than the season 1.
So much more spicy. They're flipping hair and coming out of the water.
Yeah. Yes,
so
they're
spicy.
lacy dresses that are coming out of the water. But so I kind of, after I was watching the episodes back and watching the credits again, do you think that it has anything to do with baptism? They're coming out of the water in a white dress.
Oh, that's an interesting take. My mind did not go there, but they could be playing on that for sure. And just the saints versus sinners. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting take.
And redemption, right? You're coming out of the water clean. I don't know. It was very spicy and an interesting opening. I like this one better than the first one.
Yeah, me too. It was spicy and good, and then they just dive right in from episode 1 right into the drama. So episode 1, the Book of Revelations, this is when Miranda arrives, which, to preference, Miranda is pretty much the OG mom talk with Taylor. Her and Taylor were best friends, and Miranda is part of the group that had the soft swinging drama. She originally had turned down coming on in season 1, but now is coming in season 2, and the girls seem to be very hesitant to let her in because they feel like she's clout chasing.
Yeah, I did too. It was funny when it opens though, because Macy says, I think that Mom Talk has been a positive impact for the Mormon community. She makes that statement. And I laughed right out loud because I was like, a positive impact? I'm pretty sure the Mormon community
they roll, after she says that, they roll right into the church making a statement saying that this does not represent our members.
Exactly.
So it's a little bit contradicting.
There's a tabloid actually, our statement is this. So it's hilarious, their views sometimes. And then there was a saying that was also got put up that said, lead us not into temptation, right? And that's a church saying, but then not is crossed out, lead us into temptation. So I thought that was funny because they definitely are just
playing on it.
Some crazy choices. Yeah.
They definitely are. Yeah, for sure. When Miranda arrives, she kind of challenges Taylor too on Taylor's what's the word I'm looking for? Taylor's version of what happened in the swinging scandal.
Yes. And they're at that it's like
a fall event.
Like a barn party or something. They're all dressed in cowgirl gear.
Yes.
Yeah. And so
Jen's wearing a tank top that says cowboy pillows.
Yes. They're trying to get to the bottom about what the swinging scandal is, because so far we've only heard Taylor's side of it.
Yes.
We still don't really know what Taylor's side is yet. And
Taylor makes it seem as if they were all having sex with everybody. And switching husbands, where Miranda, when she talks about it, she says it was more spin the bottle, and we were
and she kissed people.
Yes.
Yeah, she kissed people, but she did not actually do anything.
Yeah, so all the girls are sitting around, because at this point Taylor's not there, and all the girls are sitting around interesting, trying to figure out okay, somebody's lying here, because these are two very different versions of the story. They also talk a lot about is Miranda clout chasing? I think I had already mentioned that. Or is she truly coming on to, which I think Miranda going into it knew that she was going to get backlash for not
Yeah.
coming on to season 1 and then entering season 2 after the show did so well. So I kind of feel like it's a little bit of both with her. I feel she says that the reason she didn't go on first season was because she was, going through a divorce with her husband and not in a great place personally, which I also understand. You don't want to air all that on national TV when you're not in a good place in your life. But then there's also a part of me that's like, I mean, season 1 was a huge hit. So how could a little part of you not want in on that, right?
Yeah, no, I think there's both. She's a single mom needing to support her kids now.
Mm-hmm.
And she's seeing that Mom Talk is doing well and the show. But I also see her point in like, at that time in her life, it was not a good time to just agree to start filming.
Yeah.
This episode kind of has a lot happening because remember Jenna comes to Macy's house to talk to Taylor, and Taylor gets to view the text thread between Jenna and Dakota, and Dakota spent the night at Jenna's house more than once.
Jenna is the girl that supposedly slept with Dakota, and Taylor's trying to figure out if it's true or not. In episode 1, there is a scene between Jen and Zach apologizes and says he's leaving medical school, and is here to support Jen, and kind of does a complete 180 from season 1. I also feel like this is that first episode is kind of his first turning point. He's like turning from this like asshole of a husband into a more supportive, like realized he was not treating her well. The interesting thing about that conversation with Jen, though, is Jen is very not, she's like, I'm not all in. Like, you've got to prove yourself almost before I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm running back to you type thing. And it makes it seem as though they're living in separate homes as well. Mm-hmm. They're separated.
Yeah. Episode 2 is the Book of Accountability. And that is where, like, behind the scenes, Taylor evidently went to Dakota and talked to him about the text messages and his relationship with Jenna, because he shows up at a dinner at Leanne's house and wants to discuss like where Dakota is going with Taylor. And it gets pretty like heated over dinner with the entire family about what happened in their relationship. And Taylor's dad totally comes at her for sleeping with Dakota and calls her trash. Like, he basically tells her, yeah, like, you did that. And Taylor yells at him, yes, that's what I'm saying. I am trash.
It's a heartbreaking scene. It's a heartbreaking scene because you can see like the hurt in her face when her dad, his comment was, what does that say about you? She's saying like, Dakota slept with another girl and then came back and slept with me 3 nights later. And the dad's response to that is, what does that say about you? Yeah. And anyways, then you can see the hurt in her face, and she comes back with like, yeah, I know I'm trash. Like it's just very heartbreaking and kind of shocking. Like, I think as viewing it, you're like, wait, what? Like, that was not the response I expected from her dad. And the fact that the whole table, I mean, it's her sister, it's her mom, her dad, the whole table is supporting Dakota in this and not Taylor. Yeah. So it was a very interesting, and I am positive viewers came at her family for those comments.
Yeah, like that's just not, I mean, it's just like slut shaming, right?
Yeah.
Which is heartbreaking. We already have that online with trolls and everything else, that like coming from your parents, that's the last person you want to hear that from. And it's just heartbreaking. This episode
I was going to say the other interesting thing about that with her family is it does show in episode 2, Taylor and her mom talking, and Taylor still talks to Chase and Miranda, who for a long time, Miranda and Taylor haven't been friends, and Chase is Miranda's ex-husband. Anyway, it talks about the mom being a realtor, and she still has those relationships, and it feels like icky to me. Like, I'm like, why are you, when your daughter isn't getting along with these people, why do you still have that I don't know. It was a weird.
It feels like not supportive on the fact that like, okay, Taylor came out with this whole swinging scandal and Chase and Miranda were involved and they're now separated, right? They're not even married anymore. Like there's so much heartbreak because of this swinging scandal. So for Leanne to still be in contact with Miranda or Chase and supporting them somewhat is hurtful to Taylor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Leanne is just kind of interesting to me because I don't know if she's the best like support system for Taylor, honestly. I can't really judge Leanne on, I think she cares about Taylor and like cares about the kids and stuff, but I also feel like she's chasing Taylor in the spotlight too.
Yeah. It feels that way for sure.
Yes.
And I think it's hard to like saying that from, we're both moms. And so, as a mom, you always want what's best for your child and, you're doing what you think is best at the time. So it's hard to have criticism of her. I think you feel guilty almost saying it, but it's some of the things she says. And I'm like, I question it. I question it for sure. On episode 1, I wanted to note too that Whitney was kind of on the outs. She's pregnant. Whitney's kind of on the outs. In episode 2, Taylor stands out up for Whitney and says, like, I don't think that you guys should be kicking her while she's down.
Which is good because Taylor keeps reiterating that mom talk is a support system and like a sisterhood. And so for her to support Whitney when she is down says something about Taylor.
Yeah, I think so too. And Taylor stands on that throughout the whole season too, of like, hey, I've supported these people even when they're down and in their bad, worst, darkest moments. I'm still there saying no, that we should support them and be a part of them. I think because she's been there, right?
Yeah. In this episode, Dakota wants advice from the men. So he gets all of the husbands together and they go fishing. Okay, did you watch that scene? I literally was dying. They're all standing around with the fishing poles and they don't even know what to do with them, which they are fly fishing. So there's not a real like rod. You have to like pull the line and throw it a certain way. And none of them know what they're doing. And one of the dads, I think it was Brett, makes a comment saying, wow, I understand why people really like this. This is fun. And I'm like, how is it fun? You guys haven't caught one fish, it doesn't look like. And they're all standing in the water with waders on, just looking like they don't know what to do.
You wonder if the producers were like, ooh, this would be a good scene. Like, let's throw them in a beautiful Utah river.
Yes.
And, that is a thing here. Totally like, set up. Yeah.
Men are definitely fishing the river and like fly fishing is a sport here. Yes. So I do think it's part of that too.
Yeah.
Dakota did look like he knew somewhat of what he was doing. So maybe he fly fishes and just invited the other men. I'm not sure, but it was just so funny, that whole scene.
So funny. The dads are funny. The dads are kind of a comedic break from like the serious drama. I feel like they kind of provide that comedic break. The episode 2 though ends at the Halloween party, right?
Yeah, so Jessie is preparing for the Halloween party and she wants to put Miranda on the spot so that Miranda has to be in the same room as like Taylor and Chase so that they can get to the bottom of what happened with the swinging scandal.
Oh, you know what also happens episode 2 is Miranda and Taylor kind of have a heart to heart. Remember on the couch? Where were they? Someone's house.
I don't know whose house they had a...
That was interesting, though, because Taylor does open up about the conversation between her and Chase, Miranda's ex-husband. And she talks about how at the gym, she told him she had a sex dream about Chase and how Taylor felt like that was innocent and it didn't really mean that much. It was just a sex dream. And then Chase takes that and says, I have feelings for you. Chase denies that he's ever said that. But it was that heart to heart between her and Miranda was kind of a big moment in their relationship because they talked about how Taylor didn't initially come to Miranda and tell her that Chase had said he had feelings for her because she knew in that moment, the moment that she told Miranda, she would lose Miranda as a friend, which makes sense, and then Miranda gets pretty teary-eyed and says, in she gets teary-eyed because she was upset because she lost a best friend and also lost her husband. Like, how awful would that be at the same time, right?
Yeah.
So anyways, that's an interesting conversation that I think we need to highlight.
Yes. Yeah. And so they kind of rekindle a little bit their friendship of like they've missed each other, and it's been a hard couple of years for both of them.
Yeah.
And Taylor admits, like, I'm sorry, I should have told you about Chase sooner. But Miranda is understanding on where Taylor's coming from too. The Halloween party in general, like, I don't know where Jesse's going with this because first of all, she comes in with Chase and his girlfriend.
So we're introduced to Chase's new girlfriend. I think her name's Kate.
Yes. And then Miranda comes and also Taylor and Dakota. So there's just like a mixture in the same room that's like,
again, our producer's pushing this and saying, oh, you've got to invite Chase and Miranda and Chase's new girlfriend, Kate. Like, I almost feel like that had to have been a push. Like, that's not a comfortable situation to be in.
No. We also have not talked about Jen and Zach, but Jen and Zach in the last season, remember, struggled because of the Chippendale situation in Vegas. They're working on their relationship, but they've come to the conclusion that like Zach needs to like relax about Chippendales. It wasn't that big a deal. Well, Brett and Jordan decide to do a Chippendales dance with an actual Chippendale dancer from Vegas. They fly him in and they go down and do a dance for Jen. So Zach is sitting off to the side feeling, I think, upset that they're dancing for Jen.
That was rude. That was rude. I don't think that was okay what they did.
I don't think it was necessary.
No, because they knew that was an argument in their marriage. And then to like highlight that in front of everybody, that was awkward. And I kind of agree with Zach in the fact that that was not cool. It wasn't cool. And it wasn't respectful. It was disrespectful.
Episode 3 also is Taylor actually laying out the swinging scandal. So her and Miranda talk and it's Taylor saying, look, there was more than playing spin the bottle. That there was kissing between all of us. That we had sex with our husbands in the same shower together. I mean, they weren't swapping, it doesn't sound like, but there is definitely more happening. And so Miranda finally breaks down and says, you're right. You're not wrong. You're right. I did do those things. And I have just had this big fear of what I'm going to be perceived as. And I need to get past that. And she has just said, I have a reputation as a Mormon to uphold. And I've totally went against what my perception is.
Which I feel like that would be so hard. Like it would be hard. It would be awful to have that all aired, right? Which Taylor's so strong in that fact that she's very vulnerable and just like, this is what I did. Like, love it or hate it, this is what I did. But I also understand where Miranda's coming from to be hesitant to just like air that all out to the world. And that was the initial frustration between them is like, Miranda's like, you just put it all out there that we were doing all these things and none of us were ready for everybody to find out or like wanted the whole world to know,
Right. And so I see like it's really Miranda coming to terms with like, okay, I made these choices. People know about it. I need to tell the truth rather than like lie about it or stay in the background. But she's owning up to it and also trying to move forward of like, I made bad choices. And so it's hard because they have to admit that, right? Of like, I made horrible decisions, but I feel like it's a turning point for everyone to understand what fully took place. I now am feeling like I understand the situation better than I did in season 1, which we were like, what the heck? Like, this is what we're watching for.
Yeah.
So it is better that they know, but it's also you hurt for them because it is very public.
Yeah. And Taylor talks about how like her and Miranda just have a chemistry as friends that she's like, I haven't ever had with another friend. And so they kind of rekindle that, but there's still a little bit of distrust, I think, between them. Cause I think it's Taylor that makes the comment, I'm still a little bit hesitant to become like best friends again. Right.
Sure.
Which you would be after all of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In episode 3, that's also where at the Halloween party, Demi accuses Chase of laying his hands on her.
I know. Okay, what was that?
Yeah. So Demi says,
she says to Brett, he just laid his hands on me.
Yeah, she runs to Brett and says, or Chase just laid his hands on me, and Brett flies off the handle and just goes straight to Chase, confronts him, like they're almost in fighting mode, right? Flight or fight. Yeah. And I think Demi says something like, oh shit, I just woke the bear or something to that effect. But the scene that they show that Demi is claiming Chase put his hands on her, he does like bump it. You can't really see where he touches her or how he touches her. It looks to me though like he kind of does bump her in an ignorant way, but it's not like he had his hands on her.
Well, she almost like, I couldn't tell like if she was saying, okay, he assaulted me, or is he like like sexually assaulting her. Like I couldn't
it's
like,
very murky because the scene is like a very fast clip, and it's Chase walking by, and I'm trying to remember what Chase says. Oh, Demi says to Chase, your girlfriend is leaving. Like maybe you should pay attention that your girlfriend is leaving and stop arguing with Dakota, or something to that effect. And then Chase comes up and says something and kind of nudges her on his way out to get Kate. Yeah, and then Brett goes out and runs after Chase, and it looks like it's gonna get heated.
The cops show up, but it's like nothing, and then it cuts back to them doing the Chip and Dale dance. So we kind of got ahead of ourselves on that.
Okay.
But and the night ends with the Chip and Dale dance.
Well, there's also the scene in episode 3 where it shows Jen saying she's 10 days late.
And so Jen figures out in episode 3 that she's pregnant. Her test is positive, and it's really upsetting because her and Zach are not on good terms, and so she is afraid to have a baby, which is really sad. One good thing that happened in episode 3 too was Whitney had her baby. Yes. And that was like such a good scene. I felt like Whitney, I mean, it's always a miracle when a baby is coming into the world, but Whitney also says in that episode, like, this is what life is about.
Yeah.
Is our family. And this is what, she works so hard for, is her kids. And so anyways, it just was a cute scene with her new baby.
Yeah. Whitney seems like in that like postpartum like blitz, like she seems very happy and in a good place, and kind of stepped away from the drama, at least for now.
Yeah. Yes. And episode 4 is the Book of Taboos, and it's talking about Layla and her boyfriend Cam.
I thought that conversation was very interesting because her boyfriend admits that, his parents think hasn't had sex, and that he was not supposed to have. They talk about in the church not supposed to be having sex.
There's like a lot of shame around having sex before marriage. You're not supposed to. You're supposed to save yourself until your wedding night. And so his family is very LDS. His dad is a bishop, and so he's a very conservative kid in general. But Layla says he's a bit conservative when it comes to certain things. So I was like, how does that work out? Like, this is the scene here or this whole lifestyle that they're living is so hilarious, because we are LDS and we are Mormon, but with certain things we're going to partake and other things not. So it's just so funny. But her boyfriend is having sex with her, and there's pressure on him to give her an orgasm, which I think is hilarious. Yes. Sex is just not talked about in general. And so, this poor girl, she's been married for how long with her first husband, and no orgasm. And it's just,
I didn't even think about
that's where the hype is around this, is like, we are not talking or educating ourselves whatsoever.
Can you imagine what her ex-husband is saying and watching this? Like, he's probably like, oh my.
I know.
So funny.
Yes.
So funny. There's also a scene where Zach approaches Brett and Jordan about how he felt disrespected with the Chippendales dance. And then they proceed to say that Jen was warned and Jen knew about it.
did Jen just not tell Zach? Like, do you think that's the case? Because it sounds that way, that Jen was like, yeah, fine, okay, and just didn't mention it to Zach. But why would she not mention it to Zach and like actually set him up of like, hey, this is going to take place. I don't want you upset about it. Like, it's just going to cause another fight.
Yeah, I don't know why she wouldn't. The only thing I can think of is like they are separated. They're going through a lot. Like she found out she's pregnant. Like there's a lot. So like maybe that just like there was a conversation and then she just kind of forgot about it. I don't know. But then you'd think when you enter the party, you'd be like, oh yeah, by the way, you're gonna be dancing. Like
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. So that was very odd.
Okay, so they are still showing Catholic B-roll. So we talked about that in season 1. Yes. And season 2, I kept catching it. It's not as much. It's not as much as season 1, but they're still showing the Catholic Church. And so I'm like, what is going on here? This is funny.
It is funny.
But in episode 4, the sex party happens for Layla.
Yeah, but it's so awkward. This was my least favorite part of the both seasons. Yes. Least favorite part was this sex party. It was cringy.
Well, okay, there's sex parties and like I'm sure like I've been to them before. There's sex parties happening, right?
Yeah.
But why are they wearing lingerie? Why did they wear their lingerie? That's what I was confused about. I've never once worn my lingerie to a party. Do you think that was for TV?
Yeah, for sure.
It had to be.
Yeah, to play it up for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
yes, it was very interesting.
That they like the games and stuff they play, like how whoever the educator was, I felt like it was weird. Like how she was
ran with it.
Yeah. It was just very weird. It was interesting to see like Taylor just says it how it is, right? Like she would ask her a question, Taylor would be like, yeah, like I play a scenario in my head, and just very vulnerable. And all the other girls were like, I don't know what to say. Like I feel awkward. So that was interesting. I even like rewatching it, I was like, oh, I can't, this is.
I do feel like it was probably producers like pushing that.
Yeah.
With Layla being single and like this whole hype around her. And so I do feel like that whole scene in Party was uncomfortable for everybody, even
so uncomfortable. And also like there was a scene where I think it was an educator that was like tapping Layla with like a feather or a whip or something, wand or something. And she's like, tell me if you like it harder. And then Layla's like, I guess I like it hard. And I'm like, that does not in no way tell you your preferences.
Exactly.
Like, it's so strange. It's so strange.
Funny.
That was very weird.
Yes. Demi starts.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to get into.
Towards the end of this episode, Demi starts getting jealous because Macy is introducing writing a book, and there's hype around her success in like writing her story and sharing it, and the girls are all excited. And you can tell Demi on her face that she's a little uncomfortable, and jealous could be the right word for it.
Yeah.
But all of the girls are talking about mom talk in general and supporting each other, but yet they're all catty and talking behind each other's backs. And it does come from Demi. It comes from all of them, really.
Yeah.
But I feel like in this season, particularly, Demi is jealous and out to get the girls who are more successful.
That kind of builds into like the next episode, but you start to see from this episode on her, as soon as she starts to see someone as a threat, or she's jealous because they got like a bigger brand deal or whatever it is, you start to see those colors of her coming out, as far as she's like, oh, I'm now viewing Macy as a threat because she's got a book deal coming and I'm the queen bee and I should be getting paid the most. Like you start to see that kind of build on each other, and this narrative around her starts to play out for sure. So episode 5 is the book of division.
And you start to see the division between the girls, this group versus that group. Yeah.
This is the episode where Jen and Jesse have a blow up fight. Jen accuses Jesse about wanting to swing with her and Zach. Did you catch that?
Oh, I didn't catch that. That scene was hard for me because I feel like it was not constructive at all. Like there's just name calling between the two of them. And that's where I kind of start to zone out because I'm like, okay, I get you're trying to get your point across, but like the name calling, it's not taking your point any further. And so their conversation was left very unconstructed.
It was
constructive
funny
at
to
all.
see Jen, because you don't really see Jen in like a heated light, and she was heated. She was like she says something like, I never told your husband he could rub his tiny dick all over me. It's so funny.
And Jesse's like, okay, hold on. Like they were dancing, first of all.
Yeah.
And Jen said something like, I didn't know there was going to be a stripper there. And Jesse's like, hold on. He's a performer. That's very different than a stripper.
So funny.
So funny.
It's interesting though, because you don't really see.
I do think that Jen is caught not telling Zach the truth. I do.
Yeah. Well,
I think she didn't tell him.
It's little white lies that have built on each other. Mm-hmm. For example, she didn't tell Zach about them doing the strip dance. It's still very unclear what happened about the Ben Affleck relation. Like there's just little weird white lies that don't really mean much, but they're adding up. And so Demi and Jesse are getting frustrated with it, but you don't see Jen get that heated. And also Jesse kind of loses her cool in that scene too. So it's a very heated, interesting scene. I'm sure them watching it back are like, oh, not my proudest moment.
Yeah, sure. You also have Whitney and Michaela meeting up in this episode to mend their relationship with each other. And Michaela wants nothing to do with Whitney. She's basically like, I wrote you off a long time ago. Michaela is very cold.
She's very cold all the way through season 2. Yeah. Does not like Whitney, doesn't want her to be a part of Mom Talk. She's very straightforward about that, but almost to a point where I'm like, what happened? Like, do we know why she's so cold towards her?
Michaela, Whitney, and Macy were all very close, the three of them. And now you can see that Michaela and Whitney are not close at all. And Macy's kind of in the middle. And I do think it's because Whitney was not supportive of Michaela and Macy. And so Michaela's taking her stance of like, look, why would I be your friend when you treat us this way? Michaela's kind of taking her stand for herself, but also for Macy. Right. And so it's kind of interesting because Michaela literally has no interest in like rekindling, which is kind of interesting because I'm like, that's your best friend. The three of you are also very close. Why aren't you hearing your friend out and like trying to rekindle? She doesn't even want to.
I got that same feeling of like, I mean, and it continues on into the next episode, but like you get that feeling of like, okay, like you're taking this a bit far. She just has it out for Whitney for some reason.
Yeah, she does. Whitney makes me laugh because she will always quote the Bible.
The book,
she will quote scriptures. And in that scene, she quoted, I don't know the Bible quote, but it has to do with be kind to one another. And that's a saying from the LDS religion. They always like use that as kind of a theme, right? A value of be kind to one another. And so Whitney cracks me up because she will recite Bible quotes, but then she's the one that uses the F word the very most.
So true. It's so true. Yeah.
So she's
very like hypocritical. She'll like say a scripture and then do the exact opposite.
Yes. Yeah. So she just kind of makes me laugh.
She's an interesting character for sure.
She is. Taylor and Dakota take a step back from their relationship. They kind of are starting to realize that things are toxic and that they need to take a step back. And so Dakota ends up moving out. And then later on in that scene, there is a fall dinner at Jesse's house because Layla, Michaela, and Jesse all don't get in, like they don't show up for Whitney's baby shower. So they end up having a fall dinner the same time the baby shower is going on. Mm-hmm. And so you can start to see like, okay, these are the saints over here and these are the sinners. And there's division there. Something is teased about Demi getting a kiss on the cheek from Marciano. And that is like when Jen is kind of trying to stand her case of like, you guys aren't who you say you are. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so episode 6, Jen really hits like rock bottom and her depression is really, really heightened. And she has thoughts about suicide, which is so heartbreaking.
It's a hard thing to watch. Yeah.
So sad. She is so broken up. Whitney is trying to support Jen So Whitney keeps checking on Jen, which is good. But I do think that Jen stepping back from mom talk was probably the right decision, given her like health, her mental health right then.
Yeah. And I actually loved Whitney in that scene when Jen is, telling her, like, I've got a setback. I'm not going to go on the trip. Whitney, I felt like, was very supportive in that scene. She says, like, I don't want to leave you alone. I'm going to wait until Zach gets here. She starts cleaning up her house. Like, I felt like handled that perfectly.
But in this episode, there's another truth box. Like, why do these truth boxes keep happening? Another truth box comes up, and one of the questions is did Jesse kiss Marciano? And so she has to answer, and she's saying she never did. She didn't kiss him. And if she did, it wouldn't have been public, because why would she do it in a public place? Like, that's the stupidest.
There also is a truth that comes out, or that says, about the confession that Macy got about Brett cheating on Demi. And Demi kind of shuts it right down.
She
doesn't even entertain it, just says,
there's no way.
With me, there's no way, and just shuts it right down.
In the truth box, it comes up about Jesse.
The bigger contract.
Yeah, that Demi actually wanted to kick Jesse out because that would mean the rest of the girls would get paid more if Jesse wasn't getting paid.
Yep.
And so that is question to Demi. But in Demi's interview, when she's sitting there, like, actually talking about this scene, she says, like, Jesse is sitting on an empire with her hair company. And so she should step back. She's already doing well financially. And so she's being selfish that way, which I think is absolutely crazy. Like, Jesse and her family has built Jay-Z hair.
Yeah, she's worked so hard for that.
But just because she's successful over here doesn't mean she can't have success with mom talk too. Why would you step down from that?
Yeah, I completely agree.
To me.
Yeah, sometimes her thinking is a little like, wait, what?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And also in that, so Demi claims, I listened to a podcast about that scene as well. And Demi claims that they all had like a talk and a plan going into talking with the show and the producers about how much they were going to get paid for season 2. And they all went in kind of lockstep of like, hey, here's the plan. This is what we're taking. This is not what we're taking. And then Jessie got on the call late because she was dealing with something with Jay-Z hairstyles. And Jessie kind of jumped in the conversation and was like, wait, no, like, you can't speak for me. Like, I'm willing to go at a lesser rate for season 2. And Demi and Brett are very upset with her for doing that because they had a plan to kind of go all in. And so that's kind of where that stems from, is like that, according to Demi anyways, that's kind of where that conversation stemmed from.
Okay. Well, Taylor also gets like heated in this, not in this scene, but in this episode. She gets heated with Demi because she's like, what's your intentions? She starts to question Demi's intentions and is saying like, nobody would be here without me.
And Demi says,
stepping up and.
Well, and Demi said, that's also the scene where Demi says, everybody knows I was the fan favorite of season 1.
Yes.
So it's almost like it feels like the fact that she was a fan favorite in season 1, because she was your favorite in season 1. You really loved her. It almost feels like it's getting to her head, the money and the fame. And then she just feels like she's bigger and better than everybody.
I also think all these girls are starting to get other jobs, right? Taylor's now going on The Bachelor. Like, there's other opportunities for these women. And that's where Demi is. She's not getting those opportunities, or she's not seeking them out. I don't really know. Yeah. But it seems there is a jealousy issue there.
For sure. I think so.
Episode 7 is the Book of Gratitude.
And it's the bake-off, the Mormon bake-off.
And it's hilarious because
Michaela
they have a Friendsgiving, the Great Mormon Bake Off.
Bake Off. Michaela, again, has it out for Whitney. So she hires like a professional to teach her how to make sourdough bread.
She did? I didn't know this.
Yes. So solely because she knew Whitney was making sourdough bread. So Michaela's like, no, I'm making sourdough bread and I'm going to win and I'm better than you. So she hires a professional to come in and teach her how to make sourdough bread. And Macy like walks in and is like, wait, what are you doing? And Michaela's like, I hired him. He's going to teach us how to make sourdough bread and I'm going to win Whitney. Like she has it out for Whitney, like everything. It's so funny.
Didn't you think it was funny that both of them showed up with sourdough bread that said CTR? It was the CTR like shield. Because I wouldn't have thought for that to be, I would have put like Moroni or like the temple on it.
Yeah, so the Bake Off is being judged by taste, but also how it relates to the Mormon or the LDS Church and Mormon culture.
Yes.
So Demi brings a better than sex cake and she says, which makes her whole thing didn't make any sense to me. She says that she's trying to break the stigma around sex in the church. So she sprinkles like penis sprinkles, like candies on top of the cake. I'm like, what? Like, I don't even get this train of thought.
Because so Michaela and Whitney have sourdough bread, like a loaf that has the CTR shield on it. Then there's a pumpkin pie brought with like Christ on it. Michaela brought that, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then you have Miranda who brings coffee cake. And it's like, well, coffee cake, like a word of wisdom. Like no one eats coffee cake in the Mormon religion.
Funny.
Even though there's no coffee, like, I mean, but it's a coffee flavor cake.
My favorite part of this Bake Off,
I know what you're going to say.
The scene of Taylor taking the store-bought apple pie and dumping it into a pan to make it look like she made it. She's doing this all in her trunk. Like she doesn't give a shit. Like she's just like, I'm just gonna dump it.
To bake a pie.
No, but I love it because it's so relatable. Like, oh my God, I would totally do something like that. It's so relatable.
The whole time I was watching it, I was like, oh, this is Jordan's favorite. She's loving Taylor because of this right here. Taylor's like trying to get all the crumbs out of her like trunk. And then she's like, it kind of looks like it's homemade because it's kind of messed up.
And I'm like,
oh my. I wish she would have won. She wasn't in the top 3.
I was hoping she would win, but they all loved her. Like when the guys were like tasting it, they're like, "Oh, this is good," and she was like so excited, like, "Oh yeah, it is."
Yeah,
like,
you like it? It's from Sam's Club or whatever.
So funny. It's so funny. I love her. Yeah, that was funny.
That was interesting.
Demi ends up winning. Demi ends up winning the whole thing. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, hers did not make sense to me. It must have just tasted really good. I don't know.
She made a quote, something about like, we're changing the stigma behind Mormons or something like that with the penis
stigma around sex in the church.
Yeah. And it just was like, what are these girls doing? Like, we're never going to get the church to like take away their values or what the guidelines are.
No, it's so funny. It's so funny. That's all I have written for episode 7. Did something else happen?
That's all it really was about.
It was a good episode. Funny one.
It was. Yeah. Episode 8 is the book of betrayal.
Yes.
And Taylor is like really upset that the girls didn't comment on her post about the CMAs. Yeah. She was invited to the CMAs and she posted online about it. And she got a few likes from the girls, but nobody actually commented on the post.
Which I kind of understand.
You do?
I kind of understand it. Yeah.
But like, then there was a text thread of the girls. She also put it in a text thread, like a group chat, and was like, I'm at the CMAs today. And girls were commenting like, good luck. You look amazing. Like, go kill it. I'm so proud of you. So like, to me personally, I'm not a huge like social media person. And so I'm like, they did support you. Like, I kind of was like, Taylor a little bit was dramatic about this. But what is your take?
I get both sides, and I'm biased because I love Taylor. But so I get both sides because yes, I think the misunderstanding was like, yes, they did reach out to her and send her text messages and like say, good luck, tonight, you look beautiful or whatever. But their business, those girls are on social media 24/7. That's their business. So for them to just like and not say anything on such a huge event, I feel like that is it's weird that not one of them did. Like, you'd think someone would be like, wow, you look beautiful, or like, look at your dress, or someone should have commented. And maybe Taylor didn't give it enough time. Like, there is clips of Michaela and Macy saying like, give it more than 24 hours. We were busy. But I'm also like, they were on social media. They were. So I feel like it's weird too. The silence of it is weird. How Taylor handled it. So Taylor posts it and says like, silence is weird, kind of calls him out on social media, which Taylor's known for. This is what she does. This is how she handles it. Her own words, I'm petty, right?
Yep.
Not necessarily the way to go about it, because then there was some serious like backlash that the other girls got from her followers.
Yeah. So Taylor, they like hash it out on like why Taylor's mad. And she ends up sending an apology text out to the group saying like, I'm sorry, like I maybe overreacted on feeling upset about this. Well, then they have the Saints and Sinners party where you come dressed either as like a devil or an angel.
Yeah.
Right.
And Taylor shows up in like 5 foot wings. 10 foot wings.
He can't even get through the door. Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Yes. It's literally like the Victoria's Secret fashion show wings or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of these days we're going to be invited to one of these parties.
I love that.
You and I. And we would, go all out. I'd go all out.
100%. I would. Yeah. Yes. Would you be a saint or a sinner?
Oh, I don't know.
I kind of like the half. Michaela had like angel wings, but then
I missed that.
Yeah, and I feel like I wouldn't do like angel wing. I wouldn't do like a halo and a different dress. I think I would do like red vibe on one side and like white vibe on the other.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like it. Yeah,
like horns and then wing or something. I
like it. I like that idea. Let's roll with it next time we're invited.
Okay, perfect. Well, so they have this party and then they decide to go and take like all the girls go to have a chat, and Taylor confronts the girls because Layla had showed Taylor a text thread between there is like Jessie, Layla, Demi. I don't remember who else, but they were talking really bad things about Taylor. Like really
specifically said Taylor's dumber than a box of rocks.
Yeah.
That's what Jessie it said in the text. It's like super hurtful.
Really rude.
So Layla has Taylor's back. Like, going into this party, Demi and Taylor know there's going to be a confrontation, and Layla has Taylor's back when she's just talking to Taylor and says like, no, if you get confronted, I'll back you up. I'll have your back. I'm going to stand up for you. Says this to Taylor. Then they get to the party and the confrontation starts, and Layla stays silent. Like, I was like, oh, what is happening?
Her face is just like deer in the headlights, and she's just like almost like scooting back, like in please nobody notice me. Like, please nobody call me out. Like, why is she not fighting for Taylor?
Well, and Taylor also says like, oh yeah, you guys called me dumber than a box of rocks. And somebody says, who told you that? And Layla's just sitting there with like this awkward look on her face. I'm like, come on, like say something. You said you would stand up for her. That bothered me. I was like,
yeah, that bothered me too.
Take a stance, girl. Like,
yes. But in this episode, it's super heated between Taylor and Demi.
Yeah.
Especially. And Taylor is just trying to get across that like Demi is basically not representing mom talk. She's not supporting each other. She's hurting people. She in season 1, she was very hurtful to Whitney, but now they're teaming up. Whitney and Demi are teaming up against Taylor and now Jessie, right? And so she brings Jessie into it more about the hair conversation.
Yeah. So Taylor says something to the effect of like, Demi is not a good friend. And Jessie's like, well, tell us how. And Taylor's hesitant to say, because she says, I know it's going to hurt somebody if I say what Demi said. Anyways, the girls push her and Demi's like, yeah, say it. Like, she's feisty and like, yeah, say it. And Jessie's like, yeah, just tell us, whatever. So then Taylor tells her that Demi basically told Taylor not to go to Jay-Z's hair to get her hair done, that they don't do a good job. She doesn't like how she does her hair, and basically essentially turned Taylor away from going to Jessie, which is so hurtful. That's her best friend. Jessie and Demi are best friends.
Jesse just feels betrayed and is kind of left like questioning, like, okay, is Taylor lying or is Demi really not my friend?
Yeah, you can see Jesse is kind of shocked and like very hurt in that moment, as you would be. But again, I think this goes back to Demi having like an issue with other women being more successful than her. I think she has a hard time supporting like other women's success, which again is originally what Mom Talk was about.
Yep.
So
episode 9, the Book of Reckoning.
They go to New Orleans.
And Demi is just really mean about Taylor. She's saying like Taylor shouldn't be in Mom Talk. She's really questioning, you know, basically why Taylor's there.
She's also really rude about Jen. So Jen sends a video to all the girls breaking down. She's crying and in tears, just explaining like, I'm in a bad place. I've got depression. Like, I need to step back from this. And all the girls are really supportive and like, hey, you know, you need to we didn't know she was suffering as bad as she was suffering. And I do think this is a good choice for her. And Demi takes a completely different stance and is like, it's fake. I never understood why people videoed themselves crying. Like, she's mean.
She is very mean. Yeah, she is mean. And she's like, I really hurt for Jen because I feel like she was being vulnerable in saying like, this is where I'm at and I need help mentally. And so I need to take a step back.
And not an easy thing to do when you're in that state. That's not an easy thing to do.
No. And Demi is just saying like, you shouldn't cry on film. But like 2 episodes back, I think it was in episode 6, Demi is breaking down about fertility issues. And so everyone is going through hard stuff. And just because you show your vulnerability doesn't mean you're weak or it's not okay or that it's fake, right? Should they be saying that about Demi's fertility issues? Is that it's fake and she's using it to get clout? Like her crying about it? You know, it could go both ways. And I just think Demi is very insensitive about it.
Don't you feel like because that scene of her crying about the infertility is the one scene where we see Demi emotional? It almost feels like, again, this is totally my opinion, just a perspective from me, but it almost feels like she has some trauma around being able to be vulnerable and crying. And like something is holding her back from being able to like feel those emotions. Yeah, which is also why I think she puts up that wall.
She probably does. Yeah, that's probably why she's building a wall. Yeah, you're probably right about that.
But back to Taylor, she is very rude about Taylor. And basically at the end of the conversation says like, it's if Taylor's in, I'm out.
Yeah, at the end of the episode, she does say that. Taylor is toxic, and if Taylor's in, then I'm out.
Yeah, which the girls kind of, I think, then start to see Demi's true colors because Macy says, well, like, that's unfair. Or not Macy, Michaela says, that's unfair because I'm not comfortable around Whitney. I don't like having Whitney here. How would you feel if I said, you know, I'm out if Whitney's in and vice versa? Like, I feel like that's unfair to place that ultimatum on us. And Demi's response to that is like, well, I don't feel like Whitney's drama is as bad, like as Taylor's, something to that effect. And Michaela's like, to you, it's not that bad. But to me, like, I don't like being around Whitney. Anyways, I feel like Michaela did a good job of like putting Demi in her place a little bit. That's also an interesting dynamic. Layla, Macy, all of the girls are afraid of Demi. Even Jesse is afraid of her.
Yeah, Jesse in New Orleans confronts Demi about doing hair and is like, this is not stupid, like this is my life. And so, you know, can you explain to me what happened? And Demi really, she isn't apologetic and she doesn't really say like what took place. She just is blaming other people. Well, she said that I said this and that's not accurate. Okay, well, I'm asking you what accuracy is. And Demi just keeps on like projecting onto other people that like what they're saying is not true. And so still Jessie is just questioning their friendship in general. She's like, I don't think I'm getting the true story from what Demi said.
Yeah, because Demi denies it. And then also in some conversation says like, I said this, but like dances around. She just dances around it. She doesn't like just accept like, yeah, I did say that and that was rude and I shouldn't have done that. Or yeah, she dances around it for sure.
So a couple of things happened in New Orleans that I wanted to talk to you about because whose idea was it to take the pregnancy test?
Producers, it's got to be producers. Like,
who says, here's a box of pregnancy tests that I brought. We're all going to take them.
Layla says we're going to play pregnancy roulette.
Why?
Layla's the one that presents it, but it's producers. In the previous episodes, we find out that Macy and Michaela are both pregnant, and those two are the only two that know. Nobody else in the group knows except for those two.
Yes. But I don't know. So I was watching this scene, and Macy was upset because she was like, I'm not saying anything that it's me that I'm pregnant because I don't want to tell the girls this way, which when you're pregnant, it's so exciting to have that moment of surprising everyone, right? And so to have it taken away with like a box of pregnancy tests and this roulette game they're playing, I don't think I would have spoken up if I was Macy either. However, I think that if I was Macy and I knew that I was pregnant and it was going to be positive, I would have dipped it in the toilet and had it come up negative.
That's actually a really good idea.
Then no one's put on the spot of like, who is pregnant?
Yeah, because then it shows the girls like taking the pregnancy sticks out. And I think the first two they pull out are both positive. And so the girls are just shocked, like, who is pregnant? There's two of you. And what's heartbreaking is Demi is the one to pull out the second positive. The second positive strip, which obviously brings up all of her emotions around infertility and awful.
Yes. The other thing that was interesting in New Orleans is they're eating breakfast or something, and they start talking about the young women values, and they recite the theme, the young women theme.
Didn't they pray in that scene too? I didn't rewatch it, but
there's been a couple of prayers. There's been a couple of prayers throughout the season and in season 1 that I noticed they pray over their food, which growing up in the church as a family, we would pray over the food. And like, if we have Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving dinner coming up, there will be a prayer over the food if we're at my mom's house or we're with my grandma, right? Someone will say the blessing of the food.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was interesting that they showed the full prayer on camera.
Yeah. I mean, is it disrespectful? I don't know.
It felt a little that way, but I don't know either. I don't know. Tell us in the comments.
Also,
if you know.
what I thought was interesting is like, we did grow up in the LDS church. We prayed over dinner as a family, but like if we were at a restaurant or with friends, I've never prayed with my friends. Have you?
No, I've seen people though. I've seen people in restaurants with their little families saying a prayer over the food. I've seen people do that. So I don't think it's uncommon. I just felt a little bit like, ooh, should they be showing this? Like, is that disrespectful? I don't know.
But the girls all started reciting the young women theme. And so what it is it's basically a theme that the young women live by. And I mean, I knew it. As soon as they started saying it, I could recite it myself.
Yeah.
But afterwards, Jesse was like, that kind of felt weird now that we're all saying it together around the table. It sounded like a chant. And I'm like, yeah, it is a chant. It feels that way. Do you remember getting your young women medallion?
Yeah.
So the young women medallion is a necklace they give you, and it has a torch on it, and it stands for the light of Christ. And so if you're in Young Women's and you're active and you've earned that medallion, and by earning it, you pass off like certain
part of earning it is memorizing the Young Women's theme or whatever the chant is or whatever.
And there's certain things that you have to do to earn that, but then you do earn it, and most women will wear that as like an honor, right? A badge kind of the Young Women values. So that was interesting that they showed that. But if you grew up in the LDS church, you do know that almost like the Pledge of Allegiance, right? It is something you say. I think when you attend church, are they saying it every Sunday?
I wouldn't know now.
I don't remember now, but I feel like we did say it at the beginning.
That was part of getting. I know that was part of getting the medallion. Those you had to show that you knew. That.
So that was interesting. But episode 10 is the Book of Salvation, and it's the Christmas party.
Yes. And okay, so did you notice the Christmas party is filmed at the restaurant that Todd and I just went to? It's filmed at the lake house down in like Hebert. Todd and I just visit. It's beautiful, but rewatching it, I was like, "Hey, we were just there!" Like that's
funny.
We yeah,
it was very pretty with the fireplace and everything.
Yeah, if you check it out, it was really yummy food too. So, well, Taylor's so she was she was invited to the Christmas party and then is uninvited to the Christmas party, which is like, wait, what?
Yeah. And Leanne comes again for Taylor. And
in defense of Taylor.
Funny. I think it's just interesting. But Leanne shows up and confronts Demi and has a gift for Demi. And they sit down on the couch and it does not go well. Demi ends up basically telling Leanne, like, you're asking us to support your daughter and she doesn't support us. Can we talk about Demi's lipstick though?
She looked beautiful.
Beautiful. Did you not see the hate about her lip liner?
Oh, I didn't.
Crooked?
What? No, what?
Go back and look like her lip liner. What?
She didn't look like herself. She looked beautiful, but she looked different for sure.
Go back and watch. Her lip liner is extremely crooked.
Oh no.
Yes. And so she's standing up to Leanne and just angry. And like the whole time, the trolls are just coming at her about maybe you should fix your lipstick first.
So funny.
Sad.
Yeah, that is sad.
Yes, because she did look beautiful. She did.
Yeah, she did look beautiful. She was very disrespectful to Taylor's mom, though. Like, took it too far for sure. Yeah. The gift made me laugh though. Again, just Taylor, she's so funny. She sent Jay-Z Styles PR box.
To
Demi and that was the gift that she had to open. So great.
And Jesse they were like, did you give her this? Like, did you know? And Jesse's like, no, I didn't know.
I did not. It's so funny. It makes me laugh. I love it. They also talk about setting up a board meeting to decide who's in Mom Talk and who's out. I find it interesting that they didn't include Miranda in the board meeting.
But is Miranda in? Like Miranda was part of the conversation of if they were going to let her in or not.
So there's a comment though that says like, oh, Miranda isn't an OG. Like she's not an OG, but I'm like, actually she's the OG. Like that's got to piss Miranda off when she watches that back because technically her and Taylor
started Mom Talk.
She was the original OG. So for those other girls to say like, she's not an original OG, I was like, that's got to infuriate her when she watches that back. Like I started this. Yeah. Miranda there's a clip of Miranda talking about how Mom Talk isn't supportive and it's not what it used to be. And she's not sure she even wants to be a part of it, which I totally get.
So they're on this couch, I think at Jesse's house, and they're holding this meeting based on who should be in Mom Talk or not. And they go around the room saying, okay, who do you think Whitney's done the time and she should stay? So everyone's saying yes or no. And Taylor says yes. She says yes. Even though you're not my friend, I don't consider you a friend. I've stood up for you and I still think that we can be cordial and work together. So they decide Whitney is staying in Mom Talk.
Which Michaela's not happy about.
No.
There's a flip of her saying Whitney's not going to change. I don't know why we keep like giving her chances. She's not going to change. She's not happy about Whitney staying in.
Yeah.
They
want to give it more time a little bit with her though.
Yeah, they basically come to the conclusion that they want to give it more time with Miranda, which again, I think is so funny because she really is like the original Mom Talk. Like none of you would be here without her, but okay.
Yeah. It starts in on Demi and Taylor because Taylor's upset with Demi that she's even like questioning Taylor being in Mom Talk. So it starts to blow up between the two of them. It gets heated.
it basically, I mean, it gets very heated between Demi and Taylor because Demi doesn't want Taylor in, but all the other girls are like, well, we really wouldn't be here without Taylor. Like, why are we voting her out? And Demi says some pretty mean things. Like, she says she's a disgusting human. How can you guys support her? She says some very mean things to Taylor, which Taylor gets heated and says some things back. So my favorite part of that whole scene, though, is when Macy stands up and says, "These pants are too tight for this conversation," and then she like unbuttons her pants and sits back down. I'm like, yes, I love that line so much. It's the greatest.
It's just so much drama that they're sitting around like literally having hands up vote.
Well, and like what friendship are you like voting friends in and out? Like it's just a very silly concept. And they also talk about how mom talk has changed, where they used to come together and do videos together and dance together, which we talked about in season 1 was really the appeal to the whole mom talk thing, is like how fun to get together, support each other, dance, make funny videos. Like it all sounds so fun. And it feels like they've just really strayed away from that. They all have their own brand deals. They're not really making videos together anymore. But the heat between Demi and Taylor, it gets really heated up. And basically Demi ends up standing up and saying like, I'm out. I feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable. I'm out. All the girls were kind of more backing Taylor, it felt like. And so I think Demi felt attacked a little bit.
Yeah.
And she basically stands up and says like, I'm out, and walks out the door.
So we think Demi is leaving Mom Talk, right? But I mean, it'd be very highly unlikely given the pay.
I don't know how she could. Yeah, I don't know how she could. She'll be back in season 3, no doubt.
The end of the episode is Layla trying to get to the bottom of what happened in Italy at Vanderpump Rules. So she contacts Marciano and wants to meet up with him to get the story on if Demi kissed Marciano, is Jen lying about that, or what happens, right? So they meet. And before we even talk about the conversation, Marciano is carrying a snowboard. They're at Deer Valley. Okay. If you're from Utah, you know that Deer Valley is a ski only resort. So it's hilarious because he's carrying a snowboard. You can't snowboard there. And it looks almost as if he's not snowboarding, because also the B-roll and credits, there's not much snow.
No, and I noticed the second time watching it through, Layla's literally wearing shorts and like a crop top short sleeve shirt. I'm like, you're not wearing that in dead winter in Utah. Like you're not wearing that. And then he's bundled up at that opening scene of him walking in the door. He's like bundled up with like goggles on his head. I'm like, wait, what?
What's going on? Yeah, I feel like that scene was completely out of context of what they were trying to perceive, but it didn't go well because
it also feels very set up. It feels very set up. So then it makes me wonder too, like what is the conversation just a whole setup? Because what happens is Layla ends up sitting him down and says like, tell me about, the rumors, like tell me if they're true or not. And it's a weird conversation. He gives me such weird vibes. Like, I'm like, I don't know, this guy.
I know. Because he says like, oh no, I caught feelings for Demi and I wasn't sure if her and Brett were like open. Like, is he referring to an open relationship, or was he referring to like, I don't know if Brett and her are on good terms, so like I could have got Demi to kiss me. I didn't know what he meant by that.
Yeah, I don't really either. He kind of goes back and like says, we had these Mormon swingers coming to the villa. And so he just kind of had this perception of like them maybe being open. I don't know exactly what he means by that. His whole conversation is very like suspect to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And so but then he says, there is something that took place that isn't rumor. Did you hear the rumor? And Layla's like, well, what rumor? And he's referring to Jesse, that something happened with Jesse. And she's like, wait, what? Like a full-blown affair? And that's where it like cuts.
Marciano confirms that he's claiming that him and Jesse had a full-blown affair, that they've met up multiple times, that they've been trying to meet up more.
But it wasn't just like a one-night stand thing.
Yeah, he claims that. But it's really weird to me because the conversation goes from what happened with Demi, and then he just all of a sudden cuts right to, well, yeah, me and Demi were flirty and whatever, but it's me and Jesse. Like, it's just a very weird, it doesn't flow. Like, I don't know. Something's very off about Marciano and this whole plot twist. So then the episode ends. That's the cliffhanger for season 3. So we're all wondering, like, did Jesse have an affair with Marciano? And what's going, like, what was I don't know. It's so crazy.
Yeah. So season 3 will be interesting because even in the reunion, they did not actually clear up what's going on with Jesse. There was allegations, Jesse's not with her husband, or there's some sort of separation because she was not wearing her wedding ring at the reunion.
Yeah, which personal perspective, you probably, I mean, if someone's accusing you of an affair, that's going to put bumps in the road for your marriage. And so they may be just like trying to figure it out, is what I think. Yeah. I also have other speculations as to what really happened, but they also show at the reunion, they show receipts of text messages between Demi and Marciano, which I thought were very interesting.
Oh, later they like this stuff got released, or what?
Yeah. So Marciano released text messages from Demi, which also is weird because again, he's trying to claim that him and Jesse had an affair, but then he's releasing text messages between Demi and
Demi.
Yes. Yeah, because remember the text messages are read and there was like a clamshell emoji, and then on the recap it cuts back to Zach and Jen, and Jen's like, "What's the clamshell emoji?"
Oh,
don't you remember that conversation?
Yeah, this is interesting. So do you think that we will actually see what unfolded, like what actually took place? Do you think we'll see that? Because there was like something with the cease and desist that Demi was trying to pull with Jen on not talking about Italy.
Which is
don't
suspect
fully
as well.
know exactly what happened with that. Do you?
They didn't really, all I know is that supposedly Demi tried to put a cease and desist on Jen, so Jen couldn't talk. And for a minute while that was going on, Jen couldn't say anything. So she was very quiet in a lot of interviews as far as like, I can't say anything because she put this order on me or whatever. And then Demi the whole time is saying I didn't do it. So it's very confusing. I found it interesting though that Demi was not at the season reunion. She did not show.
She did not show. No. Do you think she didn't show because of all these allegations, or she didn't show because she said, I'm done with mom talk?
I think she didn't show because of the allegations and she didn't want to have to answer to them. That's my personal opinion. I have no idea. She claims she had a Disneyland trip already planned with her family and that's where they were. And so it was planned before the recap was, but I'm like, I don't know. She did do an interview with Nick Viall, which Nick Viall is the one that hosted the reunion episode. She did an interview with him and they played some clips from that interview, but it was a little disappointing as a viewer to not have Demi on there because she's like, we need her. Like, we need her. We need answers. So maybe it was on purpose by the producers too, to kind of leave you hanging like, oh, you got to watch season 3. That could be a play there.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. We're all kind of sitting on the fence of what's going to happen with Jessie and her husband.
I also thought it was interesting, the dynamic between Nick Viall and Whitney. Nick does not like Whitney. He put her on the spot at the reunion. He was like, really calling her out on things and not letting her dance around answers. Like, I'm trying to think of one in like specifically, but you could just tell that Nick's not a huge fan of Whitney. But
interesting. Which has she been on his podcast? I actually don't know if I've listened to her on there.
I don't think she's been on it, and maybe that's part of it. I don't know. Maybe she said no to him. I'm not sure. But she the whole time, even after the text messages were read, Nick was like, just answer us straight. Like, as a married woman, are those acceptable to send to someone other than your husband? And Whitney danced around the answer and was like, well, she's my friend. And, we don't know the context, and like kind of danced around it. And he was like, no, like I need you to answer. Are these acceptable as a married woman? And she was like, well, no, but I don't agree with how she's being treated, and just kind of went off on a tangent. So he called her out a couple of times on like, you got to own up to, but Whitney's still, she's still backing Demi. Like they're lockstep. So
yeah, that's interesting. Especially because season 1, they were just not friends at all. So it's interesting that they are now, right? Not that you can't rekindle something. It's just funny that now they're both, being the villain type thing.
And interesting to me, I think, especially that Whitney has Demi's back so much after Taylor stood up for her. So with everything, you'd think that she'd have a little bit of loyalty towards Taylor. I don't know, but she doesn't. She's like, Taylor's in or out. I don't care. I'm back in. I think she literally says that, like, I'm back in, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, no. Yeah, it's a very interesting dynamic because they are very catty, but then they keep saying, like, we're a sisterhood that supports each other. Like, really? Like, I don't know, because I wouldn't talk about my friends like that,
No. Nor do like vote people in and out, which I get. It's become a business for them.
It's a business,
side of it too. But yeah, it's very interesting. I've been following up on the drama like since that Marciano's, like I said, come out with some text messages from Demi. I honestly think, and this is full speculation, I think Demi and Marciano, something happened there. And when people are saying, oh, Jesse and Marciano were seen at a bar kissing, I actually think it was Demi and not Jesse. Because Demi and Jesse they get confused a lot in public.
They do get confused,
they have a similar look. Yeah. So I think it was them actually. And then those two together kind of conspired this, oh, we'll just say you and Jesse had an affair, which is awful to do to a friend. Like she's literally ruining Jesse's marriage. Like, I don't know how, if that's how it plays out, I don't know how Jesse goes about ever forgiving her. I don't know that you could.
There's a lot there between their friendship that is a struggle to get Demi to actually answer honestly about. Her hair company in question is huge for Jesse. Like she says in that last scene of like, hair is my life. Like it's not stupid.
Yeah.
Because Demi tries to tell Taylor like, that's stupid. Like, what did I say?
It's just hair. That's what she says. It's just hair.
Yeah. And Jesse's like, excuse me, like that's my life and my well-being and all of it. So
yeah.
I
haven't watched the Villa episode. I've heard though that Marciano is a character that will do anything to kind of get the spotlight. So I could see him. Even just in the brief conversation that we see between him and Layla, he seems sketchy to me.
He does, yeah. He does for sure.
I think Demi's also kind of showed true colors, as far as I think she would do the same, just to create drama and get spotlight. And she's willing to kind of step on her friends to get above. So it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. We're so excited for season 3, which premieres on November 13th.
We'll break down every episode, season 3 of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
From new alliances and broken friendships to shocking confessions, we're recapping every jaw-dropping moment. Stay tuned because it's about to get feral.
Thanks for listening to First and Feral, Utah Unfiltered. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay a little feral.